hello, and welcome to another installment, another episode of Tootie's Toy Box. I am, of course, Miss Tootie Miss Tootie Odin, here with you live on this Thursday evening. I hope you are all doing quite well this week. I hope the week is finding you productive. You're getting your shit done. You're handling your business, and you're just doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Last Tuesday's episode was a good one. I'm not going to necessarily say it was a fun one, but it was informative. I only shared information that I got with you guys because I had an opinion on it. It's been a really weird week for entertainment and pop culture, so I just kind of wanted to get a little bit of an edge into what we're expecting as far as pop culture is concerned for the new year. And it turns out we ain't taking no shit this year in 2026. Nobody is. So it's interesting to see, and it's going to be interesting to see how it swings the pendulum when it comes to pop culture. So there's that. For tonight, we are actually going to be talking about my top 5 favorite cartoons of all time. I've done this subject before on other podcasts, not my own, but other people's podcasts, because it's a fun one, especially for people our age. It's an interesting, fun, nostalgic topic, and I intend to make it that tonight as well. Now, I do have a top 5, a top 5 list, and let's just get it out of the way, because if you've been watching, if you know me at all, you already know my number 1 is The Simpsons. But we are going to play it differently this time. I have 3 different categories of what I'm going to be going through. The first category will be the afternoon and Saturday morning cartoons, early morning cartoons and afternoon cartoons. The second category will be Adult Swim cartoons, and the third category will be the GOATs, the top of all time, the best cartoons that have ever existed, known to man. So let's get started. Hold on, let's do this first. You know what? I haven't even checked if I'm even here because I have this stupid music on. Hold on, let me turn it off real quick. Oh, okay. Oh, I look frozen. Hold on. Let me turn it off real quick. Oh, okay. I'm not frozen. Oh, okay. Oh, I look frozen. You hear that? That's me. That's me talking. Okay, I'm not frozen. All right, I'm done. I'm done hearing me. Like Vortex, Tootie Vortex.
He's got pull-ups training pants.
Okay. So like I said, I have 3 different categories. Morning and afternoon cartoons, Saturday morning cartoons. By the way, I almost did not do this episode and actually wanted to do, which I'm still going to do. And I don't know if I'm going to make it a series or if I'm going to make it just as one episode dealy. But the episode is going to be about how O.J. Simpson killed the afternoon cartoon. How O.J. Simpson essentially killed our childhood. I am gonna probably do an episode of that. I almost did it tonight, but I've already started hyping this one up, so I better stick to the consistency of what I actually wanted to do. So I have 6 in my afternoon and Saturday morning cartoons. I have 6, and I'm kind of just going to go through the list and maybe talk about them a little bit. Number 6 is the Merry Melodies. Established in 1931, the Merry Melodies are the cartoons, the very old-timey cartoons that had old Bugs Bunny, and Bugs Bunny and the Witch. Remember Bugs Bunny and the big brown monster that was always with him. That, and I think Mickey Mouse, Goofy were part of the Merry Melodies. A lot of the cartoons were actually just music. Not a single word was spoken in a lot of these cartoons, and it was just silly music that we would listen to. Hence the name Merry Melodies. I'm going to pull the chat up really quick. Yeah, the Tootie Vortex. I mean, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that in their life. I agree. Let's not do that. Thanks for being here, Judge. Thanks for the booze. I was spending the afternoon with my best friend, and Jojo took a run for us to the store, and it was good times. It was all good times, and a lot of it had to do with Jojo. So thank you, Jojo. Number 5 is the Ghostbusters cartoon, established in 1986. It was a fun cartoon to watch when there was nothing else to watch for me, because when I was a kid in 80, it came out in 86. I must have been watching it when probably reruns at this point because cartoons in the 80s didn't last more than 2 or 3 seasons. I was only 2 years old in 1986. So when I watched it, I was already 4 or 5 years old. I do remember having the biggest crush on Peter Venkman in the cartoon. I had the hots for Peter Venkman. I remember that for a fact because he was hilarious. Um, but that was a fun, good, memorable cartoon. But the only reason why I didn't remember liking it as a kid, but for sure watched many episodes, was because that show's for boys, and I didn't want to watch boy shows. I wanted to watch girl shows. That changed rather quickly, by the way. That is my number 5 for this list. Number 4 is the Muppet Babies, another cartoon that came out in 1984, the year I was born. I was born in 84. So I couldn't tell you if I was watching reruns then, but that was probably actually the very first cartoon that I ever watched. I remember Muppet Babies. I remember seeing Nanny and how they only showed Nanny from the knees down, and how I always envisioned her to look like an older Pippi Longstocking because she wore the green and white striped socks, and she had these funky clogs. And she wore purple. She had a purple dress. So for some reason, I just envisioned Nanny's face to look like Pippi Longstocking, but like an older version. But yeah, that was definitely a fun cartoon. And the 80s were kind, and 70s I think were infamous for drawing adults, but never drawing like the actual full body of the adult figure that they were doing. So that was a thing that they did. Number 3, very memorable, Tiny Toon Adventures. A very fun and good cartoon, very healthy cartoon. So much room for activities in that cartoon. You had the baby versions essentially of Bugs and Daffy, and the whole Warner Brothers team, but in baby form, basically. And it wasn't them; it was like their sons, their daughters, their cousins, their nephews, their nieces, different proteges. Plucky Duck was the name of the duck that was in there. There was Babs, I think, and Buster. Buster and Babs Bunny were the boy and girl bunny of that cartoon. I don't know if you guys remember. What does he say? What he's where the one where he's flushing the stuff down the toilet, it goes down the hole. Do you guys remember that? That was the whole thing with that cartoon. In fact, that was like our version of 6-7, because every time we would go to school, like that would be something that we would say, and like, that was so funny. And that was 1990. That was 1990 was like peak of all cartoons, to be honest. Number 2 is Recess. Recess came out in 1997 on ABC's One Saturday Morning. One Saturday Morning actually had a lot of golden shows and a lot of golden cartoons. If you guys go back and look up, what is her name? They used to have this thing. You know how back in the day they would play a show or play a cartoon, and once it was over, before the before the commercials, they would have a bumper of some sort, or like a skit. And then there was one where they had a skit of this lady's classroom, and it was just a yearbook, a whole thing of yearbook kids, and there was a yearbook photo. And they were just talking to each other, and the camera would pan to the different yearbook pictures. And there was these twins, and then every time that the camera would go on to them, they would say, "We're not twins." I don't know if you guys remember any of that, but that was always fun. One Saturday Morning was a solid 2-hour block of amazing cartoons, and Recess happened to be the best cartoon in that block. My number 1 for this list for the afternoon and Saturday morning crew is X-Men, the animated series. Couldn't be anything else. I do remember watching the X-Men series early every weekday, actually. Weekday mornings is when X-Men would come on. I think it would be 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. But that was kick-ass. Once you hear the da-na-na-na-na, you knew it was kind of time to get up and get ready for school. So it was bittersweet. But some of the best memories are held within that show. So for this list, number 6 was Merry Melodies. Number 5, Ghostbusters. Number 4, Muppet Babies. Number 3, Tiny Toon Adventures. Number 2, Recess. And number 1, X-Men, the animated series. For this next series, I do have a couple videos that I want to share with you guys when it comes to some of my favorites. And this is the Adult Swim series. So these cartoons came about when I was a little bit older. I was end of high school, in college. I did watch a lot of cartoons when I was in college because as much as I partied hard, I actually very much enjoyed partying at home and just binge watching TV with my friends, you know, taking bong rips and, you know, doing the whole college thing, and just watching cartoons. Like, I don't think cartoons for a lot of millennials ever really left our system. So it was a thing that we did. Um, so let's see. For Adult Swim. Okay, I do have a lot. For Adult Swim, the Adult Swim series of cartoons, I have about 8. Hey, what's up? Shout out Louise. Hi, Louise. Thank you. You're brand new. Thank you. Hope you're doing well as well. Good to see you here. Thank you for joining us. And join in on the conversation. If you've ever watched Adult Swim cartoons, please let me know what your favorites are. Love Recess. Dude, yeah, Recess was an amazing show. Absolutely. Like, hands down, one of the best. Wendell, is that what the kid's name? The snitch. His name was Wendell, I think. He was probably my favorite character because it was easy to hate him. Okay, so my Adult Swim favorites. My number 8 is a cartoon called Home Movies. Now, Home Movies came out in 1999, and that was it was basically a show about a very eccentric kid. What was his name? Greg? I don't know. I don't think it was Greg, but it was essentially this kid who loved making home movies. He wanted to be a director, so him and his little friends would always grab a camera and they would always try to portray movies. Like, okay, so pretend you're a damsel in distress, and then all these ridiculous things would happen. They had a coach who was kind of like their overseer in a sense. He always made sure that they weren't in trouble, and if they were in trouble, he always bailed them out most of the time without knowing that that's exactly what he was doing. Big Benny. Hey, Big Benny. Nice to see you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here. So that was Home Movies. Again, if you haven't checked any of these out, I highly recommend you guys checking out all of these, especially in clip form. YouTube has it everywhere. So this list is on my top goats, my greatest of all time favorite cartoons. But what I'm doing now is because I couldn't really not recognize. I had like this entire list. My top 5 are at the bottom of it. I couldn't really just not talk about like letting go of all the other cartoons that were like that I grew up with that were my favorite. How I started it was I just wrote out a list of all the cartoons I remember, and then I tied them to a specific memory. Like, oh shit, like I remember that. I remember, and then from there, like just like the foundation of building, like, oh yeah, that's why it's my favorite. Oh yeah, because some of these cartoons actually kind of like build your personality in a sense. Some of these things actually become a part of you in a way. For me anyway, I don't know how that is for everybody else, but for me, my sense of humor comes from a lot of the shows that I actually grew up with. And I like that. I like that there's parts of me that haven't changed from that era. There's parts of me that I can appreciate a good cartoon still to this day. So that's why I'm making this list. That's why I'm doing this now. And that's why the list is so long and why I wanted to actually show appreciation to every part of my childhood today. So number 8 for Adult Swim favorites was Home Movies. Number 7 is Space Ghost Coast to Coast. That is another niche kind of cartoon that was an Adult Swim. It came out in 1994, which I didn't know because I started watching it in like 2003, 2004. So I had no idea that it was actually that old. So Space Ghost basically just interviews people. You have this dry screen, and then everything else is animated. And he would interview like Bob Saget, or it was the very first version of Between the Ferns, or Between the Two Ferns, or whatever it's called, with Zach Galifianakis, but it was a cartoon version, and it happened to have been hosted by a superhero, Space Ghost. So yeah, shenanigans ensued, and it was absolutely hilarious. Number 6 is called The Oblongs. The Oblongs is a 2001 cartoon starring Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell actually played the father in that cartoon. It's one of the very first acting roles that Will Ferrell actually got, and it was a voiceover role, obviously. Adventure Time is actually on the list. We're gonna get there, I promise. Stick around, because yeah, I spoiled it, but yeah, it is on the list. Same with anime, kind of. Yeah. I was so tempted to put anime cartoons in this because like Ghost in the Shell is one of my favorites. I was gonna put it on the list, but I think anime cartoons deserve an entire separate list for themselves. So in the near future, I may actually do that. Is just do anime by itself. I didn't want to mesh all of it in together because, like I said, this list is already big enough. But yeah, I'm right there with you though. Like as far as anime cartoons are concerned. Number 5, Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. So I actually do have a video to share with you guys about this cartoon. This was definitely one of my favorites. It's not going to make the top goat list because the top goat, like these are high value cartoons for me. These are things that I watched all the time, even today. But Harvey Birdman was actually hilarious. So let me pull up my share screen so I can actually show you guys the clip that I pulled away. Hold on. What's funny is I was debating on whether I wanted to actually share these with you guys because I'm so tired of getting like copyrighted. I'm so tired of it. But it's fine. It's a small channel. I'll live. Okay. So this is Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. And what Harvey Birdman actually is he is also essentially like a Hanna-Barbera-esque superhero. But what he does is he represents Hanna-Barbera people. Like, for instance, Fred Flintstone here. Apache Chief is one of my favorite, most funniest episodes. I couldn't find a good clip of that one. But here's Harvey Birdman representing Fred Flintstone.
Flintstone, would you say your husband gets hit on the head a lot?
Define a lot.
A lot. A great deal. More than once by a bunch.
I really couldn't tell you.
I'm holding records from Bedrock County Hospital which indicate that your husband was admitted on 47 separate occasions last year for, and I quote, severe head trauma as a result of bowling ball mishap. And once for getting his head stuck in a milk bottle?
He's a little clumsy.
Indeed. And isn't it true that at these times he often descends into a delusional state, sometimes actually adopting another person's persona?
No, that's not true.
I'll remind you, you're under oath. Your Honor.
Yes, you may roll it. Mind taker.
Who is this?
My husband.
Correction. Before getting bonked on the head by a bowling ball, it was your husband. Now it's Frederick, the international bon vivant and playboy. And this?
My husband.
No. Bowling ball. Bonk. Surprise? It's Federico Flintstone, international race car driver and playboy. And tell me, Mrs. Flintstone, who is this?
That's Cary Grant.
But who's he talking to?
My husband.
I like how his name is Cary Grant. I don't know how much of that you guys actually caught, but Cary Grant is an old like a crooner singer. But because it's Bedrock and because it's the Flintstones, they called him Cary Grant. I thought that was super special. Absolutely hilarious. So that's Harvey Birdman. Again, a lot of these cartoons, this is why they're not on the greatest of all time list, because they're very niche. These are all cartoons that are like weird and like, in a sense, back in the day anyway, they were like considered like stoner humor. And even though they're not really, there's nothing weed about them. But they were fun to laugh at when, you took after a few bong rips, you know what I mean? So number 4, that was number 5. Number 4 in this list is Aqua Teen Hunger Force, came out in the year of 2000. Number 3 is The Boondocks, a very brilliant cartoon. It came out in 2005. Honestly, The Boondocks isn't funny. It is funny, but it's just well written and it's voiced so perfectly. It's the voiceovers are amazing. The acting that's done in this cartoon is so good. It balances the idea of serious issues within the Black culture and humor. It balances it out perfectly. It's just a well-written show. Boondocks is definitely high on the list. Number 2 is a show called Frisky Dingo, which came out in 2006. I don't know if anybody knows about this show that came out on FX called Archer. Frisky Dingo, or Archer, is a spinoff of Frisky Dingo. Frisky Dingo used to have a bodyguard character called Xander Cruz. And Xander Cruz is the very character that turned into Archer for Archer, played by the same voice. I think his name is John Benjamin, who also happens to be the voice of Bob in Bob's Burgers. So, like, all these things are connected. Ooh. My number one cartoon and show on Adult Swim is called 12-Ounce Mouse. This is probably the weirdest one on this list. It's not for everybody, but it's hilarious. The animation is way off. The animation would be considered somewhat fun today, like meme worthy today. But back then, it was like, what is this? What am I watching? Why are we spending money on this? It's one of those. I do have that on video for you guys too. But yeah, it's definitely one of those cartoons that's not for everybody, but it was absolutely 1,000% right up my alley. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with you guys now. Not a long clip. This might not even be a long episode, to be honest. There we go. This is 12-Ounce Mouse. Now, the concept of 12-Ounce Mouse, as it gets deeper, it turns out like he's actually secretly hired by the CIA to do their bidding. And we find out later on that's exactly why he's there. The cartoon goes from funny and stupid to extremely dark and serious very quick. So here we go.
Hey, Rhoda. Let me get 12 beers.
What are you celebrating here? Your outstanding gayness?
Nope. Or bank robbery.
You robbed a bank.
Hell yeah.
You boys are wild.
Yes, we are.
I mean, you boys are like wild, you know what I mean?
That's right.
I mean, completely wild out of wildness, wildy. And I salute you.
Yes, sir.
It's so stupid. I'm like kind of embarrassed that I'm even sharing it with you guys. I'm a little embarrassed. I've embarrassed myself. But that's that. That's 12-Ounce Mouse. These are my top 8 cartoons for the Adult Swim era, which for me was in my late teens, early 20s. Home Movies, Space Ghost, The Oblongs, Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Boondocks, Frisky Dingo, and 12-Ounce Mouse. Now, on to the big boys, on to the goats, the greatest cartoons of all time. And yes, Big Benny, if you're still here, yeah, Adventure Time is definitely on there, I assure you. There's no doubt that this is going to be on the list, so we'll get there. Number 5 is Batman, the Animated Series, which came out in the year 1992. This cartoon for me was a life changer. I wish I had clipped it, but I couldn't find a good clip that wasn't going to get copyrighted for sure for this series. But Batman, the Animated Series is the best thing, one of the best things that has ever happened to me in my life. It introduced me to comic books. It introduced me to this entirely different world of cartoons that didn't exist for me because I'm pink and girl and I like girl shit. So that was me for the longest time until this cartoon and it started with X-Men. It really did. It started with X-Men. But once Batman, the Animated Series came out, I was like, oh my God, this is right up my alley. It was smart. It was colorful. It was dark. It was very dark. I couldn't imagine there's this one specific episode where the Joker, he contaminates the fish supply, I think. He contaminates the fish supply and all the fish that they're catching come out with like Joker grins on them. And if you consume that fish, you yourself like get sick and like everybody's walking around with these crazy ass smiles on them. And then Batman has to stop Joker and put a stop to it because he's essentially affecting human beings to turn themselves into Joker's little putty guys or whatever. Wild episode. It was scary as hell, actually. I remember it being very scary to me. Brilliant show, dude. What is his name? John Conway, the voice of Batman. He's passed on not too long ago, but he has passed on now. But man, the most iconic voice of Batman to date. There's nobody that can top him. Mark Hamill, the voice of Joker. Nobody can top him, but I know a lot of people that come close. Shout out Jeremiah Watkins, who plays Joker today. Love it. All for it. But yeah, Batman the Animated Series is my number 5. My number 4 is a cartoon called Daria. Daria came out in 1997. It came out on MTV. Daria was actually a spinoff of Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead being a spinoff of MTV videos. Beavis and Butthead would always review videos, and they'd watch them, and they'd be like, what's that guy doing? Oh my God, he's showing his butt. Like, just silly, stupid shit like that. And Daria, when they would cut away to the boys actually going to school and being in high school, Daria was one of the students, and she was one of the one of Beavis and Butthead's, I guess, friends or associates while she was in high school. And she had this very dry attitude. Attitude is the word. She had just an attitude of, I know better. I don't want to be here. Everybody's pathetic. Everybody sucks. I was absolutely appreciative of her attitude. And I do have a small clip of Daria here for you guys. Oh, let me do that. And I will pull it out really quick. Hold on. I feel like I'm going through this really fast, but that's okay. There we go. Nice. So here, if you haven't seen her, if you don't know much about her, here is your introduction to Daria Morgendorffer.
Come on, Daria. Where's your school picture?
Wow, that's sharp focus.
Daria, just once. Why can't you smile when somebody takes your picture?
I don't like to smile unless I have a reason.
Daria, people judge you by your expression.
Yes, and I believe there is something intrinsically wrong with that system. I have dedicated myself to changing it.
Oh, I almost died right now. I was like choking. Anyway, that's her attitude. That's her attitude. I don't want to, I'm not going to smile unless there's actually a reason for it. Like, she was so based. Like, she was so like practical in the way she thought and the way she was. I would have loved to have half of her confidence in high school, half of her logic in high school. By the way, can I ask, you can, yes, ask whatever you want. Ask whatever you like, but keep it clean. Don't be weird. One of my first time streaming, I was streaming on Twitch just to test it, and somebody said, "Take your shirt off." I was on for like 5 seconds. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do it. So be nice. Be nice. No, I don't know. But yeah, it was kind of funny. So that was Daria. Good stuff. My number three, here we go, is Adventure Time. Adventure Time is like well-roundedly perfect. The voice acting is great. There's emotion. All of these characters are so emotional, and so in tune with themselves and so self-aware in their situations. And then you have Finn the human, who's just a hopeless romantic every step of the way, romantic for adventure. As the cartoon progresses, he falls in love, just romantic for just the idea of being in love. There's Jake, who's his practical partner, but at the same time, like, he's very goofy and just very like, come on, like, get out there, Finn, we got to do things. And then, and there's BMO. There's this trio. Now, BMO didn't come into play until much later in the series, but BMO, like, attached to them. He just attached to them like he's always been there. Just a perfect trio of amazing imaginative cartoon characters. And of course, absolutely, of course, I have a clip of that. So I'm going to share that. Let's see. Don't I do custom graphics for streamers like logo over. Oh, okay, good. I do, but maybe we can talk business after the episode because yeah, if you want to hit me up or find me on Instagram, let's do that. And then like if you're actually like if you're into if you're for real, like hit me up on Instagram. It's right there, Tootie.Odin003. You can DM me. We can talk business then. I'm super down to look for somebody who's willing to work with me. That's cool. Thank you for that. So here is the clip. My new prison is shame. Unacceptable. All right. Oh, I got to find the clip first. Hold on before I do that. Yeah, I don't have Discord. I'm a million years old, so I should probably have one, but I don't have one. My Instagram is Tootie.Odin003. You can find it there. It's a public Instagram, so yeah, it shouldn't be too hard to find either way. Okay, here is the clip of Adventure Time, one of the greatest cartoons ever made. I'm getting quicker at this, you guys. I'm getting quicker at being able to share shit with you and like moving myself out of the way in order to do so. I'm not good at not choking on stream. I should probably not drink on stream and then like choke on my water and whatnot. So, okay. Here it comes. Oh, I gotta press play. There we go.
Beep, beep. Look out, buddy.
I'm sorry, but that's funny to me. Oh no, my favorite window. BMO is adorable. Oh my goodness. That is my number 3. Adventure Time will always have my heart. It's literally tattooed on me forever and ever. For many reasons, not just because I like a cartoon. No, it's very sentimental to me. The cartoon itself is very sentimental to me. Nothing but amazing memories. It could be higher on the list, but my childhood memories I have to hold in value. So here comes my number 2. My number 2. Oh, by the way, Adventure Time was created in 2010. My number 2. Oh, you know what? Let's take a break real quick. Let's see. What are we talking? Oh, Lone Fractal, hello. Also, Mikey, hello. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, for being here, by the way. Thank you guys for being here and tolerating my bullshit. My number 2. My number 2 greatest cartoon of all time. My number 2 GOAT is The Animaniacs. The Animaniacs came out in 1993, and The Animaniacs is the sole reason why I want to do a full, like, 2-3 hour series on why and how O.J. Simpson killed afternoon cartoons. Because after school, the very first thing and only thing I had to look forward to at 4:30 p.m. on KTLA Channel 5 was Anna fucking Maniacs. And O.J. Simpson took that away from us because he had to have a trial, because he had to do things that he wasn't supposed to. And we had to sit there and watch the fucking trial for months and months on end, thus killing the afternoon cartoon. The afternoon pattern, the afternoon routine that us kids had as millennials was dead. It was over. It never recovered after OJ's trial. And that might be a personal theory of mine. It might be a personal gripe of mine, but I don't think so. I think we all feel that way. And I am going to do a series on that, by the way. So my number 2 is Animaniacs. And let me just share with you guys the magic that is Animaniacs. Hold on, I got to do this again. I got to pretend like I know what I'm doing. Hold on. Okay. Now, in this scene, the Animaniacs actually go and visit a place called Anvilania. And I used to sing this song all the time as a kid. In fact, I probably still sing it today when it's in my head. But this is a song that me and my sisters used to sing all the time, like an obscene amount, just because it was really stupid. It is the national anthem of Anvilania. And no, it's not a real place.
with the national anthem of Anvilania, as sung by one of our national treasures, Mr. Perry Coma.
Anvilania. Anvilania. Anvilania.
That's the national anthem?
It's not all bad.
Do you see the humor? How it's just a mixture of adult humor, and kid humor, and it's just like they do it well. They did it well back in the day, where it was like subtle enough that kids won't understand it, who shouldn't understand it, but also graspy enough that adults who are watching with their children did understand it. I love cartoons that do that. Bluey is another one that does that today. Bluey should actually be on one of these lists because that's actually a very good cartoon. Um, it's supposed to be made for babies. It's supposed to be made for children, but Bluey is actually made for adults. Also, sidebar: the creators and writers of Bluey are huge Simpsons fans, so there's a lot of Simpsons references in Bluey. Like, for instance, their currency, their dollars are called dollary-doos, which is hilarious. Australia almost wanted to make the dollary-doo the national dollar, the national currency, because they loved the Australian Simpsons episodes so much. I see you've played Knifey Spoony before. Like, all of that. Australia loved it. For the most part. There's some things about the episode they didn't like, but yeah. Speaking of The Simpsons, my number one. I don't have a clip for it. Everybody knows The Simpsons. I purposely didn't clip it. One, because I don't want to get copyright. And two, because everybody knows The Simpsons. It's a no-brainer. The Simpsons is actually, hands down, there is no arguing, the greatest cartoon of all time. Nobody can argue that. Not a single human person. But yeah, what about this cartoon? Nope. Not a single cartoon. Not a single cartoon has lasted as long as The Simpsons and has tried so hard to stay consistent. And the truth is, the only reason why it seems, you want to get sued? The only reason why it seems that The Simpsons is falling off is because, one, it's been almost 40 years. So come on, relax. And two, the voice actors are dying or getting older. So the voices aren't going to stay the same. It is coming to an end. They are going to have to put it to pasture soon enough. Again, I have to admire The Simpsons and give it a big shout out of respect, because the writing, as much as it has changed, the formula is still there. That's such an impressive thing to do for almost 40 years. The cartoon itself, the dynamics, the character arcs, things like that have changed because the characters had to change, because the voice actors had to change. Things changed. And with those changes, like, I started watching The Simpsons when I was 6 years old. 6 years old when that cartoon came out, and I was absolutely introduced to it, and it changed my life forever. From 6 years old till now, I still watch it till this very day. I watched it yesterday. I mean, it's there isn't going to be another cartoon that's going to be as good as what we had and what we have with The Simpsons. So that is my number one of all time. My top goats: number 5, Batman the Animated Series; number 4, Daria; number 3, Adventure Time; number 2, The Animaniacs; and of course, number 1, The Simpsons. I do have some honorable mentions that I want to mention here. 3 of them. I wanted to make a video for one of them, but I ended up fooling around this afternoon. My best friend came over, so we hung out for a little bit. So I had to hurry up and hustle once she left. But our honorable mentions: Futurama, Ren and Stimpy, and I mentioned it previously, Beavis and Butthead. This is my list, my top list of the best cartoons that have ever been created of all time. And these are just the ones that I know. The reason why I wanted to do this is my birthday is coming up. I'm not saying that because, oh, happy birthday to me. Because it's still weeks away, but I'm saying it because it's okay to not grow up. It's okay to grasp onto these things and remember them. You're not too cool. No one thinks you're cool just because you don't like cartoons, by the way. If you don't like cartoons because like grow up, bro. That's not how growing up works. You know what I mean? Growing up works in the fact that you get to embrace who you are. That's maturity. I embrace who I am. I embrace what I love. I love my hobbies. I love what I do. And as long as this stuff that I love that is not necessarily necessary in my everyday day to day, as long as that's something that I can reserve for me and still respect myself, that's fine. I think that's okay. I think a lot of people think they have the pressure of growing up and being an adult. Oh, my cartoon days are over. Oh, I don't play video games. Oh, I don't do this. Um, and on the other side of that, you don't have to be a fat nerd to enjoy any of these things. You don't have to be living in your mother's basement and all these other cliche stereotypes that people like to assume with people who enjoy pop culture the way I do, the way we do. I love pop culture. I love cult classics. I love things that are niche and different and fun. John Waters, like the John Waters episode of The Simpsons, when they were just so blown away by him and his attitude and how he just loved things so much, and like all of that. Like, it's okay to be whimsical. Life is short. Time is short. There is no reason for us to be too cool for anything. And honestly, at this point, acting like you're too cool for anything is kind of cringe. Like, okay, cool, good for you, cool guy. Go be cool over there. Be cool. I'm not part of your cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's just silly. It's just really silly. So I'm really happy I did this. It was fun. I feel like I breezed through it. I'm happy that I was able to get some people in the chat tonight. Thank you so much. Louise, Benny, Lone, Mikey, Jojo, thank you so much. What did Jojo say? Hell yeah, Animaniacs was my all-time favorite. Wacko was my character. Yeah, Wacko was my favorite. Wacko was my favorite too. Wacko was nuts. He was so funny. Yeah, there you go. So thank you guys. I think I'm going to end it there. There's really nothing else, nothing more I want to say. I just wanted to share. I wanted to share my nostalgia and a little bit of my childhood with you and why these cartoons were so good and so important. If you go back and watch it or whatever, or if any of these if you haven't seen them, if they stick out to you, go find them, go watch them, and go enjoy them. And if and just enjoy yourself. You're never too cool to enjoy you. No one's ever too cool to enjoy themselves. Oh my God, I had a good time. I better stop. It's dumb. It's silly. So once again, thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you guys, whoever joined me on Tuesday as well. I super appreciate all of your presence. It's so lovely to be here with you guys. Do me a favor, you guys. If you really like this video, do a thumbs up on the YouTube. I don't know what it's like on Twitch. I don't know if there's a thumbs up button on Twitch or whatever. But you can follow me on Twitch. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't pay attention to my Twitch too much because it's so hard to focus on more than 2 platforms for me at my age. But I guess I can start paying more attention. So if you guys message me, leave comments or whatever it is that you do, I'll do my due diligence to make sure that you're there. But again, I am on YouTube. You can always subscribe there. You can always like the video there. And again, minute by minute updates on my Instagram. My Instagram is always active. It's always going. And that's the best place that you can find me. So do me a favor and find me and follow me there as well. Have a wonderful rest of your week, you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys next week. I've been Tootie Odin. See you. Bye.